defenders, I think, it's like.
People, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, as you can see in front of me, the group stages of the Champions League draw have been made and finalized. You can see them all in front of me, specifically to Group B and the team I support, Arsenal. Let's see exactly what's being said and how our immediate reaction is. First things first, some of you would have seen across Twitter and Twitch, we watched it together. Appreciative to you lot who were there and everyone else who's been a long-term viewer of my content. If you're new here, make sure obviously you're subscribing. Everybody, please let me know your thoughts on not just Group B, but the group stages in general, either via the comment section at the bottom of this video or also in the live comment section when this video premieres. Now, on the face of it, Group B, you could say it's a Europa League style kind of group, and it is a lot easier than I expected. And it's a nice kind of warm-up back to the Champions League for us as a club, if I'm honest with you. On the face of it, I personally thought we was going to get Bayern Munich. Maybe the UEFA and the figureheads that match fix this sort of stuff, they're warming us up for it. On the face of it, I'll take PSV, I'll take Sevilla, and I'll take Lens. That being said, every team earned the right to be here. You cannot sleep on any team. You cannot underestimate any team. Every team is dangerous. Clearly, there's more teams that are expected to win the Champions League than others, but everything is dangerous in this competition. And what we need to remember, the beautiful thing about football, it's not won on paper. While Arsenal did not win this competition ever in our history, we did get to the final in 06. How many games did we go through on that run? Villarreal, Juventus, Madrid, etc., where no one gave us a chance and we did the underdog thing. On the face of it, I'm happy with this group. The first thing I always think of is away games when I think of the Champions League, because for the players, away from obviously wanting to compete in the competition and attempt to win it, you know, you see different cultures, different fans and all of this sort of stuff. So it's nice for our players. You know, I know a number of Arsenal players, you know, off the top of my head, let's play a bit of a game. Jorginho, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, technically Rob Holding, I'm sure. Who else is there? El Nene. I know a couple of players at Arsenal have Havertz. He's won this competition as well. I know a couple of players have played in this competition before, but unfortunately, Mikel Arteta and the vast majority of our club were Champions League virgins, and everybody in this club is a Champions League virgin because you ain't played in this at this moment in time, you know, for Arsenal Football Club. The first goal we score in this competition is going to slap, and the Knights are back in the Champions League at the Emirates, rightly so, after a couple of years absence. So yeah, I'm happy with the group, but then on the face of it, Sevilla, they won the Europa League last season and they're a difficult outfit to play. Lens, did they not finish runners-up in Liga? PSV, obviously this is the second time we're going to buck them in a group stage competition of a European competition, because we got them in the Europa League last year, where, you know, we obviously lost to them away from home. So we've got a trip to Spain, we've got a trip to Holland, and we've got a trip to France. On the face of it, we should be getting through. But as I said, PSV beat us last season. Sevilla won the Europa League last year. Lens finished runners-up in Liga. So everyone's got pedigree, really and truly. Lens have actually sold their star striker, Openda, to Leipzig, who are somewhere at Group G. Funny enough, City get an easy group. So yeah, we're going to have to stand up to be counted. And obviously, we don't know the dynamics. We've basically got a game every 3 days, you know, 2 games in 10 days. We don't know the dynamics, as we know injuries, fatigue, squad rotation, all of these things are relevant things. So yeah, as I said, smash the like button and let me know your thoughts. But I'll take that group. You know, looking at the other groups, you know, clearly Group F is what you describe as the group of death. You know, PSG, Dortmund, Milan, Newcastle. You've got a Tonali derby there. And I think there's, you know, PSG got some great fans. Dortmund have a great atmosphere, and as do Milan. So that's a difficult test for Eddie Howe. On that as well, for Man United, Arsenal and Newcastle, for Eddie Howe, Ten Hag, who's got a trip back to Bayern Munich, and Arteta, I do wonder, have all of our teams got enough squad depth? You know, do we have enough depth to cope with these things? You know, how is it going to be navigating the squad, really and truly? I know Arteta is tinkering with the system, but based off last year, we really just had a settled 11. Man United don't have the deepest of squads, and neither does Newcastle. So I'm keen to see how those 3 clubs in particular navigate it. Obviously, City are defending their trophy, and I don't think they could complain about Leipzig, Red Star, and Young Boys. Group H, I think Barcelona could make that harder work than need be, but I think that's a relatively straightforward process in Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. Again, away games are very scary. Group E, you've got Celtic, Lazio, Atletico, and Feyenoord. I think that's more even than the eye catches on. Group D, you've got Benfica, Inter Milan, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. We'll be cheering on Sociedad to a certain point because Tierney's over there. Group C, I think Real Madrid will be happy with Napoli, Braga, and Union Berlin. Group A, you've got Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray. So that's Galatasaray away, crazy fans. When you look at, in particular, I would say Galatasaray, AC Milan, Dortmund, Red Star, there's crazy fans everywhere. Porto to a degree, but the atmospheres at Celtic as well. The atmospheres are crazy, and this is what the Champions League is about. All I hope is, as a minimum, we get to the last 16. Clearly, I want to get to the quarters, and we'd all love to win it. Whether we're able to do that or not is another thing. I say last 16 because we need to give a good account of ourselves. But if you were, for example, to get out of the group, and then you play Real Madrid and we lose, depending on how we lose, I don't think anyone can complain. But I'd love to get to the latter stages. I'd love to do what Inter Milan and I'm sure Benfica to a degree did, in that they kind of defied expectations in the Champions League. But it's gonna be a techie one. There's reasons to be optimistic. There's reasons to be cautious. There's reasons to be nervous. But this is what football's about. It's about all of these emotions. Hopefully the players, I'm sure they all probably, if they're at home and training's done, they would have seen what's going on. I'd imagine that the Arsenal squad all sat there and watched this group draw together. Obviously Edu and Vinay were over there representing. So hopefully we give a good account of ourselves, man. And it could have been worse, but it could have been, it could have been better, of course, but it could have been a lot worse. And as I said, I think that is a Europa League style group. But as I said, PSV beat us last year. Sevilla won the Europa League. Lens, forgive me if I'm wrong, finished runners up in Liga, or they were definitely top 3 or something like that. So while we should be getting through, and it is a relatively easy group, it's anything but straightforward. This is the Champions League. Every team needs to be taken seriously, and we need to earn the right to win. If we look at our 3 Premier League games, for example, we've made it harder work than it needed to be. Our best performance was probably down to 10 men at Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest was one-way traffic, but, we conceded unnecessarily. Obviously, we made it hard work for Fulham. We didn't start or end that game well. Regardless, these are games that we should be winning. The beautiful thing is football isn't won on paper. You've got to earn the right to play and ultimately win, and we've got to turn up. And it's going to be a big test for the squad, because now with the Premier League games coming thick and fast, there's a League Cup fixture or 2 before the end of the year. Obviously, you've got the Premier League. It's now, and we've got a tough September to October/November schedule. So the games are coming thick and fast. It's going to be a big test for Mikel Arteta in terms of rotating and trusting his squad. Some fans would say, because we was in a different sort of scope and realm last year, the starting 11 kind of picked itself. Arteta's not exactly been crazy flexible in his lineup, but from last year, from really being relatively rigid, so far in the Premier League, he's been very exploratory in what he's done with the system. So it's a big test for how he rotates, for how he trusts the squad, for how we cope with injuries, suspensions, loss of form, and all of those dynamics. And that could be said for everyone. As I said, I think the only team that out of the English teams that are probably, or let's say British and include Celtic, that are stressed, I would say Newcastle, because that... Listen, obviously we couldn't have a group like that because we was in pot 2, but you definitely, if you're a United fan, Arsenal fan, City fan, you're definitely happy that's not you in it. But it is what it is, man. There will be some shocks and twists and things. So yeah, man, I'll describe Group B as a Europa League group. I'd describe Group A as fair game. Group C, straightforward traffic for Real Madrid, regardless of their injuries. I'd say Group D is probably, fair game as well. Group E, probably not one that I'm going to watch too frequently. You'd imagine Atletico go through, but again, they can make it harder than they need to be. Big up Feyenoord, because you had Reece Nelson on loan for a year, so we hope you do all right. Group F, Group of Death. Group G, City are laughing. Group H, Barca are laughing, really. So yeah, I don't know which one you'd describe as the hipster group. I'd probably say Group D would be the hipster group. Group F would be the Group of Death. Group B, Europa League. Group A, it's all Ten Hag derby, really and truly. And yeah, man, I do believe, forgive me if I'm wrong, this Champions League is a new sort of format, really, if I can remember correctly. Or that might even kick in next season. So ignore all of that. But yeah, man, that's all I've got to say in relation to this. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and smash the like button. Appreciative to all of you lot who support my content. Until we link up again, one love.
Always with that.
attacking when like defending.
I think it's like